That's completely true. Zeepai, I know he loves his Resto Druid. He's got a bunch of other classes, and Fnobbers has been playing the game since the dawn of time. He even plays the mage, so we see another one of... This is actually the game in the grand finals. This is game one, Nagrand Arena, preemptive Ironbark to start. Once again from Fnobbers onto Zeepai. Nothing too much is going to come from that, but ABC, they come out the gates flying actually. 20 seconds into the game, and they're just playing so offensively. Now onto Nazarins. He's taking a lot of damage. He's having to use the Ember Taps. The Healthstone comes out. We've barely seen that cooldown at all during this series. The Shadow Fury comes out. He ports away double Ember Tap, and actually so much damage coming onto him anyways. And ABC maybe caught Ball Jugglers off guard here.
Yeah, I love what ABC's doing right now. They are bringing pain to the Nagrand Arena. They were definitely watching earlier in the stream, and they know what they have to do. They want to focus on Nazrin. They want to get a really strong setup on him, and they want to kill him early.
So I'm interested to see if Daisy Duke is running that Everness. He was able to get his first setup as we see the blind. Fnobbers trying to sit through this one. The Sheep to follow up. Overlap slightly with the Sap, unfortunately, but a lot of damage onto Nazarins. He needs to be careful here. That wall comes out. He's down to 50%. They have a lot of cross CC. Asgraf pushes in, gets the DR Cyclone onto Fnobbers, onto... Maybe they can swap it over onto Nazarins. It doesn't look like it.
They're staying on Nazarins. They stayed on him even a little bit through his big super cooldown, essentially his ultimate as a Warlock to keep himself alive. And he actually pops Dark Soul to try to put a little bit of pressure onto ABC, put them on the back foot, and stop the onslaught of pain that they're bringing. And now Daisy Duke getting so low. He does have this Iron Bark that may be enough, but actually he has to pop the Ice Block as well. If you're Ball Jugglers, you're definitely happy. You've kind of switched it up just enough to keep yourselves alive in this game.
Yeah, and this is the thing. ABC have been doing such a good job of playing offensive. I want to see them carry on that trend. They do get the Deep Freeze onto Fnobbers, actually on his meld there, but the Ring of Frost does not land. Unfortunately locked. I'm not entirely sure how they were able to lock that one. It looks like Nazrin's just trinketed. He didn't even trinket. I'm honestly puzzled as to how Daisy Duke didn't land that CC, but he did get locked out, so they're not going to land that one, and that's going to put Ball Jugglers maybe slightly more stable, because it certainly looked like the momentum for ABC was quite good offensively. We see this Cyclone now onto Nixie. Maybe they can follow it up with a Bash and try and go for one of those setups. It certainly looks like that's what they're going for. Double Shadow Fury. Nixie instantly respects that, trinketing out, gouging the Chaos Bolt from Nazarins. Well played by Nixie.
Yeah, and well played by Asgrath too. I mean, he didn't blow any defensive cooldowns there. He's not playing greedy either. They're just sitting in a pretty good spot right now. ABC going to look to probably set something up here very soon, and I would not be surprised if it was on the Warlock yet again.
Yep, and like you say, Asgraf completely fine to stay on that cooldown. He completely trusts Nixie to use what he needs to stay alive. That's one of the things about having this three-man roster, of course. You have, these guys have just played with each other for the last few weeks or months. They don't have to worry about anything else. They just have three players that have been playing so phenomenally well with each other, and that's why they've been able to take up these matchups.
They're swapping on the Zeepai.
Yeah, I agree. He's down to 60%. He actually gets locked out on the Hex, so he's not going to be able to off-heal himself too much. He's not using that Shamanistic Rage. Trinket comes out from Fnobbers. Do they have any follow-up CC? The NS is going to top off Zeepai for now. That was the Trinket and the NS. I know Ironbark available as well. Maybe a swap onto Fnobbers could be an option.
Was that the Heart of the Wild too?
Yep, Heart of the Wild also.
That's pretty big. I was wondering why Zeepai didn't blow his Shamanistic Rage. Now Ball Jugglers are going to switch it up. They are going to put some pressure into the Rogue, but we do pull a little bit of an Ironbark, but that's not going to be that favorable of a trade. I wouldn't be surprised if ABC tries to turn this around very quickly here. They're just kind of waiting for Deep to come off of cooldown.
Yep, so Deep Freeze should be up in about 10 seconds. ABC, one thing I really like about how they're playing this matchup is they are playing quite offensively. We do see them behind the pillar right now, of course, countering anything I am saying, but that's just because they're waiting for that Deep Freeze to come up. Daisy Duke now, there is the Deep Freeze. A nice grounding totem from Zeepai is going to deny any CC, though. Unfortunately for ABC, that means the Cyclone onto Daisy Duke, and Asgraf taking a bit of damage now. He gets locked out on that regrowth. Chaos Bolt comes out. This could be trouble onto Daisy Duke. He's going to kite out of there. He does have one Ice Block available should it be required. And Ball Jugglers again, Zeepai doing a great job of just denying the CC from ABC.
Yeah, and ABC, once again, still holding on to a lot of their cooldowns. We're actually about to see quite a few rotate. Yet again, the Ironbark and NS are going to be off of cooldown, so they have everything at their disposal except for the Trinket.
Yep, I agree. Lots of cooldowns on the side of Ball Jugglers. And actually that means they're going to swap it over to Fnobbers, so a good cool there. They get the Bark Skin very quickly. They will have a small window when the stun DR comes off and Fnobbers will not have a Trinket. Nixie does have Killing Spree available as well. So Nixie, he is one of these rogues that loves to kill the rest of druids, loves to target the healers. We'll have to see if he gets the opportunity to do so. Ascraft popping that Heart of the Wild, making sure that he's sustained. Maybe they know this is what they want, and this is going to be it. The kidney shot into Flobus, he's in so much trouble. Killing Spree comes out, Cloak of Shadows offensive. He's going to go down here. DR cheap shot, so much damage. ABC with the perfect swap. Flobus trinket came up in 1 second.
Hey, and they still went into dampening. Just want to point that out. We still hit 1% dampening there at the very end. But I want to point out, this was one of the things that you were talking about. Said, hey, if we get the swap onto Fnobbers, maybe that is the missing piece of the puzzle.
Yeah,
and it's looking good for ABC.
It worked. It took them a long time to get it. Of course, you have to get the trinket out of the way. You have to get the backskin out of the way. It's a lot of work. Fnobbers isn't default trinketing blind. That would be one way of getting it easily, but he's being very greedy because he knows this is something they can expose. He trusts his partners to stay alive. ABC, even if they hadn't got the kill there, I really liked how they played the game. They weren't as afraid, and maybe it's because there's less on the line. We do see this is the game at the end. So look at that trinket. It's up in 13 seconds. They have so little time to pull this off. Nixie, he goes for the expecting a tweet from Holinka saying that he's nerfed that composition after today as well, because it just looked unstoppable.
We also saw 2 rats. I will point that out, but we're going to jump into this next match.
What is that button? Look at it. It's fiery.
Fire Mage coming out from Leaksy here, deciding to switch it up. And we were waiting for this in the first cup. We talked about it in the second cup, and here it is. So we are going to see Leaksy on the Fire Mage, and what are they going to be able to do to take a win off of ABC?
Yep, so I love this. We finally get to see it. Maybe he was answering my calls from last week. Now that there's a little pressure off, they do decide to go for that. We'll see the Dragon's Breath. That's going to be one of the big themes of this game. Dragon's Breath, of course, means it's like a disorient effect that's AoE, 4 seconds long, very annoying to play against. But Zipai, despite that taking so much damage, his Shamanistic Rage, barely enough. He's spam healing himself with the Aura Mastery, the Spirit Walker's Grace, just kiting away. Fnobber's now caught up into the bash, and Zipai's now out of the woods yet. Can they follow up the CC? Doesn't look like it. They're going to be able to get that Iron back. Probably the NS might come out. Looks like he's trying to hold on to it.
A really good initial push from ABC, but Fire Mage, we really haven't seen too much of this. We're not sure what Leaksy's going to be able to do. We've heard whispers of it, and he's just going to keep chucking fire away, and will that be enough pressure for ABC? Dragon's Breath is definitely something to look for. We saw that in the opener. That brings a whole new kind of footing to the game.
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially on this map, because that AoE CC, of course, is great on Dalaran because it's such a small box, everyone's stacked. They can get some really nice ones. As Fnobbers does get caught into sheep here, that's going to mean that Leaksy's the target of choice. He's taking a little bit of damage, down to 50%. Looks like he's able to kite away quite well for now. Fnobbers does get caught into that Cyclone, the Aura Mastery skin coming out from Askaraf, just to make sure that that CC cannot be counterspelled by Zipai or Leaksy. Daisy Duke taking a little bit of damage right now, but ultimately, they got another setup. They didn't really force an ice block on Leaksy. I would like to see them go back over to Zipai next swap.
Yeah, I definitely think going over to Zipai would be a good move. The only thing that would maybe make them not want to do it is the fact that he still does have a Shamanistic Rage.
Yep, I completely agree. Askaraf,
it looks like they might swap to him. They put the kidney onto him. The damage is starting to flow through, and now we just have to see, is he going to pop the Shamanistic Rage here, or is he going to feel comfortable enough to be a little bit greedy? The damage is still coming in, but Daisy Duke is the one who actually falls low enough to pull this Iron Bark. Yeah,
those Pyro Busts coming out from Leaksy, that's a huge chunk of damage to be honest. Not quite a Chaos Bolt, but still fairly significant. Daisy dropping quite low there. Able to hold on to that Ice Block due to the NS from Askaraf, so nice coordination between the two of them. We see Fnobbers casting those 3 Cyclones, but ultimately not too much damage coming out. Now the blind onto Fnobbers. He's not going to trinket out of this one. This should be the Shamanistic Rage from Zipai. The sap to follow up overlaps slightly with that DR Sheep, so unfortunate for them, but it's not going to matter too much. They do get the Sham Rage. That was the cooldown they were going for, and now Zipai doesn't have his trinket. He doesn't have that Sham Rage. He's actually in a bit of trouble through it. The bash comes out. Fnobbers still in a bit of, still in CC. He does get out now. He doesn't have the NS available. Zipai could go down. Deep Freeze onto Leaksy just to ensure that Askaraf does not get CC'd any further, and ultimately Zipai survives.
Yeah, I mean, that push though was incredible for ABC, getting so much. It was actually kind of strange. The Leaksy went to kind of peel a little bit there with his Dragon's Breath, and it just wasn't enough. They kept putting damage into Zipai.
Yep, and They did a great job of it, and now he doesn't have that shamanistic rage. There's no Iron Bark available either. The NS comes out from Fnobbers, but they're just chunking through it. Beautiful Cyclone onto Daisy Duke, however, is going to deny a lot of that damage. He's not choosing to trinket out of that one. Their kill opportunity is now over. So let's have a look at what the Fire Mage has been achieving. Having been so excited to see it, we haven't really alluded to it too much. I mean, the Dragon's Breaths have been mainly used to get CC onto Askarath, but as you can see, he's had to use quite a bit of mana. He's down to 30%, and Lixie is using that Combustion cooldown, just trying to make sure he has as much spread pressure as possible. But ultimately, I think the main problem is he's just been getting shut down a lot by the control from ABC.
Yeah, I mean, ABC also, as much control as they are putting out, they're using that control to get damage onto the board. Once again, off of cooldown, they're going to pull that Shamanistic Rage. Daisy Duke has to get the Iron Bark yet again. Pretty similar position that we were in just a few seconds ago when they popped these cooldowns the last time.
Yep, and a nice Cyclone actually coming out from Askarath on that remaining Sham Rage, and they get the sheep onto Fnobbers. Beautiful play by Daisy Duke. The Dragon's Breath comes out now. They get the Rovs. Beautiful peels as well from Lixie. Both these mages just playing phenomenally well. Iron Bark now onto Zeepai. It looks like he should be okay for now. I've been so impressed by Daisy Duke. I've said it already a few times today, but he has just played so well. He really has been possibly my player of the tournament if I were to judge one. He's just been, he hasn't allowed anything past him. Even the Destro Warlock he didn't allow to beat him, and he's such a mastermind. He does a lot of the shot calling for the team, I know, and just individually so smart with his play. Yeah,
and we've watched Daisy Duke do so many incredible things today, like you said, and one of the things that we saw him do was kind of like be patient with comps that they didn't know, figure it out, and really get in there and manage to find the win. He's finding those opportunities, and then he's blowing those windows open, and now they're going to put the damage onto Lixie. They're switching it up. Nice swap.
Yep, nice swap onto Lixie. Ball Jugglers do have a lot of cooldowns to answer this, though. They haven't honestly used much in a long time. 3 trinkets, 2 blocks, 1 Sham Rage. Pretty much every answer that the Ellie Mage can hope for. Lixie just kind of kiting away. A nice AoE damage, that huge meteor thing I'm going to call because I don't remember its name.
I'm pretty sure it is called Huge Meteor Thing.
Huge Meteor Thing coming out from Lixie onto Nixie and Daisy Duke. So they're both dropping quite low. Askarath caught into that bash. Can they follow up the CC with a sheep? They do. This could be a nice block onto Daisy Duke. He does kite away. He's going to have to trade out that cooldown. And now Ball Jugglers are actually suddenly looking quite far ahead. Nixie uses 4 globals in a row on Feint just because he's so scared of this AoE damage. He has to trade out the cloak anyways. Askarath still has his trinket available. He should be at the top of his team, but a lot of cooldowns forced on ABC.
Yeah, that was a very impressive push from the Ball Jugglers, and this is one of the first times that we've seen them be able to get super aggressive. But once again, look, Zeepai has to pop that Shamanistic Rage. ABC not out of this game at all.
Yep, so Lixie, he goes for the Dragon's Breath onto Askarath. Unfortunately, it was DR, so they're not going to land the sheep off that. And this might actually expose Lixie just a little bit. The Deep Freeze onto Fnobbers. Unfortunately, the Ring of Frost unable to land out of that, so they're not going to be able to force the block. Fnobbers just gets out, uses that NS, tops off Lixie, and now Ball Jugglers should be the team looking to get offensive.
Yeah, and now we're moving pretty deep into dampening. We're at about 10% here. And Ball Jugglers with this different comp probably don't want to go as deep into dampening as they did before, and ABC should be able to handle it quite fine.
Yep, and we'll have to see if they can. I mean, this is one of those things. Askarath is a little low on mana. He's a little low on HP as well. Nice setup with the double Dragon's Breath coming out from Lixie. He trinketed for that, of course. So he got a lot of damage onto Askarath. Askarath just able to blink away, not actually trading out too much despite dropping so low. I'm not sure if the Fire Mage honestly does that well in dampening. It certainly seems like it has quite good AoE pressure, so I imagine it does. It has a lot of control with that Dragon's Breath and the Sheeps, of course, as a mage. So another Dragon's Breath comes out onto both the DPS of ABC.
The Dragon Breath is really nice, but at the same time, it's really not offering that much more than Shadow Fury was.
Yeah, it's just annoying.
It's just like, I'd rather see the Shadow Fury, to be completely honest. I think that the Destruction Warlock was probably a little bit better in this matchup. Well, we'll see. Maybe the Ball Jugglers have something up their sleeves, still moving deeper and deeper into dampening. Maybe they'll have enough spread pressure to actually bring the team down.
So, yeah, well, there we go. Askarath dropping so low. Heart of the Wild NS comes out barely enough, but he's still completely He's down to 1% mana. He's struggling so hard right now. Lixie's just playing on top of him, and this is that advantage of the Fire Mage. So the Destro Warlock, of course, you have the Shadow Fury, you have all these sustained, but the Fire Mage just has so much damage, and it's so easy to land it as we see Nixie fall in that Dragon's Breath, unable to get the Cloak of Shadows off. at the end of that one. So Ball Jugglers actually tying up the series 1-1. And this was the difference. The Fire Mage, look at that damage. That is way more than Nazrin's would have been.
I said I didn't like it, and I'm definitely going to eat my words here. That's probably what secured them the victory. And they're definitely going to play it again moving into the next game. I can't see why they would switch it up, but is there an answer that ABC can come up with to kind of counter this new meta-breaking strategy that we're seeing?
I mean, I think that their RMD certainly has a good chance in this matchup. They just have to figure it out a little bit more. That was game 1 against this composition. Fire Mages are not something you see on the ladder every single day. In fact, we haven't seen it at all in this tournament. I've barely seen it on the ladder. The only reason I know about it is because I asked Leaksy to show me some games of him playing it. So the damage coming out of Leaksy was the significant factor here. So they do still have the annoying peels. They have that Dragon's Breath, which, I'm just
You ask and you shall receive. We're going to see ABC and Ball Jugglers tied up 1-1, and we're going to see Healing Stat getting exactly what he asked for the Fire Mage.
Yeah, and I am loving it. The fact that this grand final does involve a Fire Mage just makes me so happy because if Ball Jugglers are going to win this, there's no better fashion. This is so them. These are the guys that always come up with these new compositions. They're always willing to think outside the box. They came up with the Ellie Mage a few months ago in GCD. They came up with this Destro LSD now to take out 2 of the RMDs, and now that that's not working, they just like, oh, well, we also have a Fire Mage, everybody. And we do see that Fire Mage gets the double Dragon's Breath onto the DPS of Daisy Duke and Nixie, just denying any good opener from the RMD, and Phobos doesn't have to trinket the blind because of that.
The RMD, though, it does look like their kill target is potentially Leaksies here, so maybe they're going to try for something that we did mention a little bit earlier by pressuring that Fire Mage, take away some of the pressure that he was putting on, and maybe even take away a little bit of the peel.
Yep, and they definitely can do that, but at the same time, Ball JS, they have so much instant damage with Zepai and Leaks here, it allows them to just kind of run down Askarov when he's playing offensively, and that makes it really difficult for him to land the Cyclones. We see Fnobber's now taking quite a bit of damage caused up. That Barkskin should be enough to keep him up. He still has his trinket available, so he's not in too much trouble right now. A nice double DB. Can they follow up with the Sheep? Doesn't look like it. They're actually going over onto Askarov here with the Bash. They force the Barkskin. He's taking a lot of damage there. He needs to be very careful. Fnobber's also caught in the Sheep. Leaksy dropping quite low, and he's down to 30%. Can they follow it up? Doesn't look like it. Heart of the Wild from Fnobbers. Are they going to hold the block? Looks like they probably will. So neither team really trading out too much here.
I'm impressed by them holding the block there. Very good call by the Ball Jugglers. That will give them a little bit more moving forward against ABC, because ABC looks like they potentially are going to train on Leaksy. And if they train on Leaksy and he doesn't have an ice block, that could be the game.
Yeah, potentially. And a nice CC chain coming out from Ball Jugglers. They got the Sheep onto Askarov into those double Cyclones. 3 Cyclones actually from Snobbers. Just making sure he rounded that one out. That's going to force the ice block onto Daisy Duke. Nixie getting caught in the Ring of Frost for a second. They have a nice 3v1 setup potentially, but unfortunately they're unable to land the Ring of Frost once more onto Fnobbers. So we see the Smoke Bomb now comes out onto Seeper. They're going to force the Shamanistic Rage with that one, but it's kind of like cooldown for cooldown. They also get the Iron Bark here, so that was quite a lot committed by Nixie. Of course, the Smoke Bomb and the Adrenaline Rush. So a decent trade for Ball Jugglers.
Yeah, ABC at the end of the day, like, they had a relatively good setup. Like you said, they entered a 3v1, but they couldn't follow up. And now Asgraf getting so low, still explosion coming out from the Ball Jugglers, even with this new composition.
Yeah, so much damage coming out from Leaksy there. Asgraf actually plays quite intelligent. He dispels himself, then melds so that he can get a clean restealth, but he needs to take some time to top himself, and that means he's not going to be part of this offensive push. Fnobber's now caught up in the blind. He's going to use his trinket on that one. That might expose him to a potential swap in the near future. ABC is certainly one of the teams that will be looking for that. Leaksy still has both his blocks available, which is another reason why ABC should be going for that. Of course, that's how they won game 1. The only difference here is that Leaksy with that Dragon's Breath is quite a big peel.
I mean, you look, their next potential setup is probably in about 3 seconds, but they're setting up into a Shamanistic Range and they're setting up into an Ice Block. Not looking too great for ABC at this point. Ball Jugglers just taking a commanding position. Leaksy is going to be the kill target for ABC, though, caught in that kidney shot, but not much to follow it up.
Yeah, a nice Hex from Zepai. Denies anything that Daisy Duke might want to do. So Fnobber's just going to walk out of that bash scot-free. Leaksy 100% HP. Ball Jugglers looking very, very strong. The trinket is still down for a while on Fnobbers, which is why I think their best option at this point is probably to have Nixie do a swap to him, try get that Barkskin, but at the same time, Daisy Duke dropping so low. He has one ice block available. Is he going to use it? He's down to 4%. He needs to. He waited a really long time. He's actually going to use this ice block offensively. I like this from Daisy Duke. That aura mastery from the ice block glyph is going to ensure that he lands his CC. He needs to be careful though with that hypothermia. He does not have another ice block available, but Zeepai also taking a lot of damage, down to 30%. That shamanistic rage. They actually follow up with the cyclone. This could potentially be game for ABC. They're so close. Can they get the recyclone? The NS comes out. It's locked by Leaksy. Brilliant plays from him, able to deny Ascraft that CC. Ball Jugglers survive.
And I mean, look, ABC isn't letting up yet. They pulled those 2 cooldowns. They want to see how much damage they still can do. But their Druid's getting dangerously low here. This could be game inside of the Iron Bar. Is Ascraft going to fall down? He might get behind this pillar. He does break the LOS, and it looks like he's going to be able to get himself up just barely. Daisy Duke coming to help out.
But look at that, Leaksy used the Cold Snap offensively there for that setup. So he's only going to have one ice block available. One of the things about Fire Mage that many people do not know is that the Dragon's Breath can actually be reset by that Cold Snap. And Dragon's Breath is your biggest hitting ability as a Fire Mage. So doing that twice is, of course, why Ascraft took so much damage there. And he's completely tapped. He's struggling
answers.
so
here's
much.
The Tranquility. This is kind of his last-ditch effort to get ABC up to full health. And they don't really have much of a window to put any damage into anyone. Zeepai is going to be in the Shamanistic Rage right now. Expect Asgard to go down here.
Yeah, it's going to be so difficult for them. Fnobbers actually get caught into the Cyclone there. So Ascraft with a nice play, but he's just completely tapped. And he's going to struggle so much to get away. He used the Iron Bark to get on top himself for now, actually, with that trinket. Smoke bomb onto Zeepai, but it's preemptively Iron Bark by Fnobbers once again. That was actually a big moment for ABC because there was no Shamanistic Rage on Zeepai, but Fnobbers actually getting caught up in that sheep, so well played by Daisy Duke, seeing that opportunity to catch him on Global. He did get the NS just before. The question is, do they have the damage to go through that? Because Fnobbers doesn't really have any healing cooldowns. Nixie taking a bit of damage. He uses the cloak, but this is quite offensive. The blind comes out, trinketed by Fnobbers. They do get the DR sheep. I don't think it's going to be enough for the kill right now, and if Ball Jugglers can survive here, then ABC are rotting. Ascraft getting soloed by Leaksy right now. He gets caught up in the sheep. It's so close. Who's going to die first? Ascraft blinks away. He's down to 10%. Zeepai also down to 10%. The Shamanistic Rage should be enough, maybe. Fnobbers not in CC, spamming out those Genesises. He should be able to keep him alive. Actually skinning that kidney shot, maybe a small mistake by Fnobbers there, but it looks like it will be enough for Zeepai to stay alive.
So close for ABC there. They're not giving up yet. I love their attitude. They may be able to bring down Zeepai here, and slowly Asgrath is getting more and more mana.
Yeah, ABC is just playing so offensively. They're not relenting at all, and because of that bark skin by Fnobbers, they definitely have 2 kill targets. They seem more happy to be hitting Zeepai right now. Actually 3 targets because Leaksy blocks offensive as well. These guys are going all in right now. The trinket from Zeepai on that kidney shot should mean that he's okay for now, but there's so many kill opportunities for ABC, but at the same time, there's no cloak on Nixie. Ascraft has managed to get up to 40% mana, so that's very good for ABC. The question is, can they execute this kill onto Ball Jugglers?
Yeah, I mean, he was running on fumes and almost wrote them off because of it, and now he actually does have enough to work with here, but Daisy Duke taking so much pressure. Doesn't matter how much mana you have, you can't heal him up quick enough. Daisy Duke deciding to pop the Icy Veins here, get aggressive yet again. The kidney was used onto Zeepai, but he's going to answer with the Shamanistic Rage, but his team's sitting in CC.
Yep, so they get the Shamanistic Rage with that one. That was the Icy Veins, not too much committed. However, they do have that killing spree coming up very shortly for Nixie, so definitely the kill window in the next 19 seconds before Fnobbers trinket, or maybe they're just going to go for it anyways. The Iron Bark coming out to answer that high damage from Nixie. He does have that killing spree available right now. Ascraft actually trinketing out. Can he get bashed on the trinket? He does! He's going to fall here, surely 10%. He does fall, a beautiful bash, and Fnobbers instantly, when he trinketed that when he triggered the Dragon's Breath, Fnobbers instantly used dash. It could not have been faster. He saw the opportunity before we did, and beautiful play from him, securing the game when it looked like they were potentially on the brink of defeat there.
Yeah, Ball Jugglers are just going to clean this up right now. They're going to take down Daisy Duke, but one of the beautiful things about ABC, yes, they did not get the win, but they would not give up. And they almost found so many kill opportunities that we thought were completely off the board. We thought that their healer was we thought they were completely out of the game, and then all of a sudden, they're having us ask questions like, are they going to be able to take down Zeepai here?
Yeah, I completely agree. I was really impressed by how ABC played this game overall. I think they set up great kill opportunities onto Zeepai and Fnobbers potentially. Leaksy, did manage to run out of blocks without being targeted once, but that's just because he was playing so offensive. He knew he could afford to. Even when they've targeted Leaksy, to be honest, they haven't been close. And just look at the damage. Zipai doing double the damage of anyone else on the map, pretty much, other than Leaksy, of course, his partner. Leaksy also way up there, so this is going to be the end of the game. Look how well ABC is setting up. They're getting nice low cyclones from Askaraf onto Zipai. They are getting cooldowns. As you can see at the bottom of your screen, Ball Jugglers don't really have anything left, but this is a beautiful bash from Fnobbers. That is awareness at the absolute top level of World of Warcraft arena. He sees, despite Zipai being in so much trouble, they don't have any real trinkets available to stop ABC's next push. He just instantly turns around, stops running away from the mage, and goes for the kill.
And I mean, if you were going to rewind that, though, to about 40 seconds before that, you would have seen Zipai having to pop the Shamanistic Rage and getting the Iron Bark put on him because it looked like he was going to be the one to die.
They have been the team. They're kind of defining the meta right now, these guys. It's just so brilliant to watch them because they just come up with a new thing every week, it feels like. It was, the last week was kind of the will they, won't they of this Fire Mage, and now we see it in the grand final.
So let's take a peek at how they actually got here. So it was not an easy road for them at all, getting knocked down 3-0 in that upper bracket, fighting through to the lower bracket, making it all the way to the grand finals, and looking in this game to reset the entire bracket.
Yep, so they can do that if they win this game. As you say, they will reset it so that ABC, who have not lost a single game until this series, of course that entitles them to a second chance at this grand final. They can kind of say, hey, we lost, I don't want to lose, we get another go. But the question is, can they find an answer to this Fire Mage? Because right now, Leaksy's just doing so much work, he's doing so much damage, and Askraf's struggling a lot to keep his team up in dampening.
Yeah, I mean, look at Daisy Duke. So much damage coming in. He does have that cooldown on him, which is going to keep him up for sure. But if Ball Jugglers can keep up this pressure, they may even be able to close out the game a little bit earlier. We have seen them move into dampening time and time again. Zipai being the target for ABC to train down yet again. Still has the Shamanistic Rage. All that had to get popped on him was that Iron Bark.
Yep, so nicely played by Ball Jugglers, not really having to trade out too much. And we see actually a lot of damage onto Daisy Duke. That double Dragon's Breath coming out, just doing so much. Unfortunately, it looks like it broke onto Askaraf, so they're not going to be able to follow up the CC chain. That it means they're just going to hit him instead, dotting him up, making sure that those Fire Mage dots are spread around the team. I don't think they do too much damage, but just seeing dots is very satisfying.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a swap onto Zipai, and he pops the Shamanistic Rage this time, really respecting that the damage they're putting through, but they're not going to respect the Shamanistic Rage. They're going to keep plucking on forward. A blind does come out onto Fnobbs.
Yeah, that's a mistake though by ABC because he blinded straight into the orb, and that means that it's just going to break instantly. Slightly unfortunate.
I thought he blew his trinket.
Yeah, if he trinketed it, but Fnobbers too smart for that one. Going to hold on to his trinkets. They do get the Sham Rage, that's certainly something. But Fnobbers has the Iron Bark, they still have 2 trinkets available. They certainly have answers still. And now the Deep Freeze comes out, will they be able to follow up the Ring of Frost? Doesn't look like it, so well done by Ball Jugglers, able to shut down that CC chain.
Yeah, but so much pressure still coming in from Zipai onto Zipai. ABC not looking to let up yet, but we're seeing just how annoying this Dragon's Breath really can be.
Yeah, it really can, and there's the double DB onto the Rogue, and the rest of Druid, he actually gets locked on the Cyclone by Zipai, so he needs to be a little bit careful dropping low. Gets a nice Cyclone now onto Leaksy, though there wasn't any interrupts available for that one. His mana is already down to roughly 50%, and we're only 2 minutes into this game, so Askaraf, that's definitely been the story, is that he is dropping low. He's playing quite offensive on during the game when he has that mana, but he's not really getting the opportunity to drink the way they're playing right now, and that's been the way they've been losing, right?
Yeah, they've been forcing him into these positions where he has to drink, and then they're not letting him have the opportunities. But Zipai, the story of this game, getting so low through the Shamanistic Range, and we're seeing this Druid still caught in the sap. There it is again. Zipai may fall down here. He's trying to cast Healing Surge on himself. He's able to get up, but that was a very close call. Ball Jugglers definitely sweating at this moment.
Yeah, definitely. Fnobbers being a little greedy with that trinket there. He knew he had the NS out of it if there was no follow-up CC, and Daisy Duke drops low, has to use the Ice Block. Actually overlapped slightly with that Iron Bark, so slightly unfortunate for ABC. And now Askaraf, he has to trinket as well. He gets Dragon's Breath instantly on the trinket. He's taking a fair chunk of damage right now. The setup onto Zipai from ABC. They get the deep shape. Actually on the trinket from Fnobbers, or he trinkets out of the shape, so that's quite significant. They will have the blind available very soon. If they can force this Sham Rage one more time from Zipai and then set up cleanly with that blind, they could win the game.
They don't have too much to force it out without sacrificing their kill window. So they need to find a cheeky little move to get Zeepai to blow that Shamanistic Rage, and the Ball Jugglers are not going to make that easy. They are going to look to put so much pressure onto both Daisy Duke and Nixie here.
Yeah, Ball Jugglers have done a very good job of forcing teams to commit before they'll use a defensive cooldown. We'll have to see if that's still the case. The grounding comes out. Actually, the blind used here, so unless they can get the kill on this, they'll kind of lose that advantage. Sham Rage looks like it's going to be enough. They actually follow up with the sap, so Vanish, they're committing quite a lot to this play here. Sham Rage will run out soon. Can they get any follow-up onto Fnobbers? There's the Ring of Frost. Do they have any stuns? Ascraft pushing in, trying to get that bash, and that's a beautiful play. They overlap it slightly with the Deep Freeze, or sorry, the Deep Freeze goes onto Leaksy, the DR Cyclone. Zeepai in a lot of trouble, down to 30%. Looks like he's going to be able to get out of this one. The NS Ironbark coming out from Fnobber is going to stabilize him.
A beautiful CC chain, but it just wasn't enough. They weren't able to bring Zeepai down before Fnobbers actually gets out of that Cyclone, gets the Ironbark up, and now Ball Jugglers have a bit of a window to breathe, heal everyone up, and then move forward and put the damage into ABC.
Yeah, but he's not topping him off. There's the gouge onto Fnobbers. If there's a follow-up, this could potentially be it. 10 seconds on that Shamanistic Rage. The kidney shot comes out. Is this going to be game? There's no killing spree for Nixie, but he does cloak offensively. Can he stop the heals? Doesn't look like it. He has to gouge that one. There's no real CC onto Fnobbers now. He doesn't have any particular healing cooldowns. The Shamanistic Rage does come out. It looks like Zeepai should be fine, but Daisy Duke snaps on like 10% HP. Match with the NS as well. Ascraft low on mana there.
Yeah, Zeepai, it just managed to stay alive long enough for the Shamanistic Rage to come off cooldown, but ABC waits for it to fall off, and they get very aggressive again. This smoke bomb is proving very lucrative at this point. They're taking much with it.
Yeah, Zeepai dropping so low, and he hasn't been stabilized for a very long time. Fnobber's being put into all kinds of tiny little CCs. Big NS comes out now. He does still have his trinket available, so there is that answer. Whereas Askaraf does not have any mana. He uses the Iron Buck. It's not going to be enough. Down to 1%. Leaksy, the Pales come out just a second too late from Nixie. Leaksy, it's like we're not really talking about him that much because he's not really Dragon's Breathing to peel ever. Or well, he is sometimes, but he doesn't have to do it too much.
A lot less in these games, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
The first game that we actually saw them break out the Fire Mage, Leaksy was looking for peel nonstop, and I kept saying, oh, this Dragon's Breath looks exactly like the Shadow Fury that we were actually seeing out of the Warlock. Why did we switch? And then we see this insane damage by Leaksy, but it's not really here in this match. Only seeing almost 5 million out of him. It's Zeepai, yet again, who's going to actually show up with 7 million damage, which is just absolutely insane when you look at the damage from the other team.
Yep. Team captain setting the example, topping damage every game. Zeepai, of course, the god that he is, always topping damage.
They did spend quite a lot of time in CC, to be expected when they're playing against ABC, but they just reset the bracket.
Yep.
They're going to go into a fresh grand final, 0-0, start on Nagrand Arena, and I guarantee you, Nagrand Arena is going to feel the wrath